I want to get a clip as well of the space from the web. So if we could have me modded, that way we can see both of us. The only way you can see both of us from the web view, if people are watching, is that we both are crowned. So that will definitely work. Thank you.
I didn't know that. Thank you. Got it.
Onboarding tips really help. So anytime anyone wants to come through and get some tips and tricks on podcasting on Fanbase, I will be available.
I love that. You've been so helpful with this with fan base, and it's part of why I definitely have you on board. I'm very happy. All right, so we'll give it one last second just for people to come in, and then we will begin. But this is it.
You're involved with a lot of things, but if you could pick one of those things, what's next for you? Hi, I'm
Cracking.
Luke, and
Let's
welcome
do
to my
it.
channel.
I don't know why it's starting
You're involved with a lot
automatically.
of
It shouldn't. Yeah, there we go. It's paused. But all right, thank you so much, everybody who's tuning in live on Fanbase. Shout out to you. And then I see some of y'all are tuning in from X, from YouTube, from Twitch, from Facebook. As well as my Facebook page, all at Steamulater. Yes, we are on a full blast campaign spree for the kickoff of my reality science competition show. And so I just want to introduce myself and introduce some of the key players that are going to be part of this season, season 5. Shout out to y'all for tuning in. I see some of your comments. I saw your, I saw your comments. Shout out to you. I see you. All right, I'm not going to repeat that comment, but thank you for coming on in. Yeah, all right. So, hello again. My name is Steamulater on every single platform, aka Dr. Mook, or you could just call me Mook. And I am a scientist as well as a science communicator, and I focus on combining STEM plus arts to reach a wider audience, but also to decrease the gap that exists in science across multiple different spectrums. I have been a scientist for about 15 plus years. I got my PhD in biochemistry from the University of Washington. And during that journey, and even after being employed within the biotech industry and biopharma, I have just always noticed that there are very few Black folks, folks of color in STEM, very few women in STEM. And one thing I wanted to do to see if I can, not be lonely one day, and also, empower people within my community with tools as well as information, was to launch a program that gave access to these tools and resources as well as knowledge to people within my community in a fun and pop culture relevant way, and also incentivize this learning through giving away money, right? Cash prize. One of the reasons for these disparities that exist within our communities is because there's a socioeconomic gap that exists as well, right? And that gap keeps on expanding because, as you can imagine, when you don't have scientists that are in your community, then you don't have those scientists who are earning money to create generational wealth. And so the next generation is disadvantaged, and that cycle just keeps on going and going. And so I wanted to address all of these different components by not just empowering people within my community, my audience, who happen some of them may be black and brown folks. Some of them might be social economically disenfranchised folks, women, of course, within the area in STEM, or just people who are casual listeners who are trying to basically raise the next generation. I wanted to not only empower them with knowledge and tools, but also give hands-on practice for making molecules that could actually become IP that they could utilize and potentially empower the next generation. So, to kick us off today, I wanted to frame this main program that is in Steamulater. Steamulater, the platform that I created for this purpose, and to talk about the science that I love, to talk about the different programs that I love and teach in these different areas. This main program that we have is called Steamulater Games. This year in 2025 would be the third year I've been doing Steamulater Games. Shout out to you. I see you, Mur. Thanks for the comment. But yeah, this will be the third year we're doing it, and it's the fifth season that I'm launching. I launched Steamulater Games again for it to be a reality competition style program that gives hands-on tools and hands-on experience for folks within my community to learn how to build molecules from scratch. Yes, that sounds super difficult, super high level, and it is, but it is what I got my PhD in. My PhD advisor actually ended up getting the Nobel Prize in chemistry in 2024 for this work. And so it's work that is not only relevant and useful for us in our community, but all throughout the world. This is the groundbreaking work that leads to molecules that are used as drugs in pharma or in agriculture, in plastics and materials. And my question is, what if I did empower my community? What area would my community use these tools for? What are the new molecules that we would generate? And so that's what I'm very excited about in Steamulater Games season 5. And so season 1, 2, and 3, and 4 have been all throughout these years, have been mostly theory and some practical applications. In fact, last year we had a sponsor from a biotech company, shout out Levitate, that were able to sponsor us and help us students actually get hands-on experience in getting into their platform and designing proteins. But this season, things have completely changed because AI has sped up so many things. The tool, the little phone that you have in your hand, you can do so much with it right now. In this day and age. And so I've incorporated a lot of that within the season 5. And so people will learn not only how to use AI to use the chatbots to think about their different theories and the different theses and how they can move forward, but they will actually build things. I have vibe coded apps that I will show you guys on here, and we will build some things together. You can also do image generation, of course. Things like Sora, as well as Kling and Higgsfield, are all there for the fun of creating images, but you can make images that are useful in the world of science, right? And useful in the world as we create this. And then also learn about the tech behind it. So again, we can empower more people within our spaces. And of course, video generation, if you're talking about art as well as music generation, video generation makes sense for all of those different elements. And so this season we will be going through the gamut from things that seem as simple as our picture generation or video generation and music generation, all the way to more complicated things like molecule generation, diffusion concepts, MPNN concepts, and even some of the basics that I learned in Rosetta. And so, to me, season 5 seems like a marker, a landmark season. It seems like we're really kicking off into a high level. I also have been able to connect the season to robotics in a way that we haven't been able to do in the past. In the past, we've been able to keep these things on the computer, these molecules that the students generate. Some of them have been able to present them at conferences, but they're just still things on the computer. Now in 2026, with robotics enhanced AI, we're able to actually make the molecules that we made on the computer, on social media, on Instagram and Fanbase. We're able to take those molecules and have them generated in a lab by robots, and then actually see the output, iterating on the test for our hypothesis that we generate, that hey, is this something, number one, that is scientifically sound, of course, because this is a scientific process. But two, is this culturally enriching our community? And three, is there any IP that we can generate that we can distribute within our community? Because again, these are molecules that can be patented. If you look up my name, you'll see I actually have patents to my name, molecules that I made during my PhD. And so this is the same thing I want to do and empower to my community. Oh, shout out. I see you, Simba. Hey, shout out. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, the community that is part of Stimulator is a mixture of people. Originally I'm from Zimbabwe, so there are a lot of Zimbabweans within our community. I went to undergrad in South Carolina at a historically black college, so I have some Claflin folks in my community. I did my PhD in Seattle at the University of Washington. I have folks from there within my community. I also pledged to fraternity, so I'm part of the D9, A5, and so I have those in my community. And I'm also a Barb, Big Barb, and season 3 was dedicated to Nikki, and so we also have Barbs in our community. We have a mixture, a big tent of different thoughts within our community. This season 5, I'm adding another community, a new platform that I recently joined in, and I mentioned this in the full disclaimer that I am an investor in this app, but I've also fallen in love with the community that is available on Fanbase. Shout out to Fanbase. It's a Black-owned app that is basically changing the game in the social media world, right? And a lot of these different apps that have now been created are sort of allowing us to connect more, whether it's visually, audio rooms, or these different pipelines. Think of Spill app, kind of connect a lot of all of these different things. Instagram, mostly visual, Suno, like sound, and there's a social component and layer added on top of it. It seems like Fanbase connects all of those in one, and the community that's on Fanbase is particularly something that I have fallen in love with, and I think that's the reason why I wanted to add Fanbase to the mix. And so, what we're doing today is kicking off recruiting folks who might be interested in participating in this competition, and of course, potentially winning $1,000 via Cash App. Okay, so how do you do that? Please stay tuned to find out a bit more on this. But first, I need to introduce my co-host for the season on Fanbase. As I am navigating these Fanbase streets, there's of course the aficionado, the person that everybody knows, the person who onboards you when you come on Fanbase. She has agreed to be my co-host, and I just want to introduce to the platform Joyce. Hello, Joyce. Thank you so much for being part of the season.
Hello. Thank you so much. It's a little bit of a delay, but I am so excited. Welcome, Silver Fox, Domino, Mona in the audience. I'm just here to help support Steamulator and his mission because we know science is something that doesn't get talked about nearly as much. So we want to make it fun, we want to make it interactive, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it, Stimulator. Let's go.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I know, sometimes it might be a delay, but if you interact on the app on Fanbase specifically, it won't be a delay. But I love having Joyce on here, and she's so passionate about, of course, science as well as community building. I feel like you're one of the biggest community builders, Joyce, and so to have you along on this ride is so awesome. And so yeah, if you do not have Fanbase and you are watching from all the other platforms that I'm streaming, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Twitch, Kick, as well as I think there's another one. What's the other one? Other the Facebook page. If you're watching from there and you do not have a fan base account, please feel free to click the link that's associated with the post that you found this, and go ahead and sign up. Sign up. It's a mobile only app, and so download it.
Community.
Oh yeah, tell me. Yeah, we have Joyce here. Joyce, walk us through how people could sign up on Fanbase and come on. Go ahead. You'd be probably better at this than me. Go ahead.
Well, I actually shared an event, so if you hit this share button, it'll go out to any of the socials, and if they just click on it, especially from Facebook, they can join just from that link. So anywhere we share, the room, people can come in as we are airing this right now. So the quickest way I would say is to go to your Google Play or your Apple and look for Fanbase. Download the app and join the conversation. Follow some people so that you don't look too much like a bot. Get a profile up, get a bio up. That's one of the first things I always tell people. Just make it look like you're a real human. We want to get that human experience, that warm and fuzzy feeling as if we met in person. So that's all I have for installing the app and coming on the fan base. But come join us. We're doing some amazing things on here.
That's perfect. That's perfect, Joyce. Yes, yes, please come through. And at the same time, you will still be able to access the show on all the other different platforms as well. Like I mentioned, I just love Fanbase because it combines everything and also adds this payout layer that nobody else is doing, on the reels and posts and any conversation that you have, even a comment sometimes. You can earn money on all of that on Fanbase, like actual money, not any other kind of money. They call it loves here on Fanbase, but you can cash that out, and it's actual cash that you'll be able to earn through Stripe accounts. And so every post that you make could potentially be a windfall, and now you actually get paid for your content, which I think is really awesome. And so yeah. Anyway, I'm not gonna keep yapping about Fanbase. I hope you guys join, and of course, to be part of the competition, it would be really, really good for you to have a Fanbase account. And if you do come on, follow me, follow Joyce, Memoirs. We'll definitely guide you around and make sure that you are all set up. Right now, we have in the room, shout out to the folks who came in. Domino, we have Mona S. We have Silva. I see y'all. Shout out to y'all in the room right now. Actually, I'm a big fan of most all of y'all. Yeah, I'm following literally each of you. So it's a tight knit community on Fanbase. So clearly, it makes sense that we are all following each other. All right. So to kick off the explanation a little bit more about the competition, how you can enter to win this $1,000 cash prize on Cash App, and this is a payout through Steamulater with $ Steamulater on Cash App. And all you have to do is learn arts, STEM plus arts. And so to kick this off, I want to show you sort of the origins of where this idea and theory came from. It came from a small idea that I call hip hop biochemistry. And so I'm going to play a quick video, which is another thing that you could do on Fanbase, and only on Fanbase that you can't really on other apps. And so I'm going to play this video it's on YouTube. And it was the introduction to this concept of hip hop biochemistry, because what I'm essentially doing right now is creating a new discipline. Biochemistry is its own thing, hip hop is its own thing. I'm combining the two the only way Steamulater can, STEM plus arts. And so, yeah, take into this, you hear where this idea came from. So let's go.
One of those things. What's next for you?
Hi, I'm Mook, and welcome to my channel. A lot has gone on since the last time we spoke, and I mean, did I graduate? I showed it! But I won't get into all of that right here, at least not just quite yet. I mean, if you want to watch my full commencement speech that I gave when I received my PhD in biochemistry at the University of Washington during the Lavender graduation, then simply click here. I will put the whole video up here for you to watch. But you didn't click this video for that. No, you came here to join me on this journey as we find out the rhyme and reason behind biochemistry. If hip-hop speaks truth to power, and education is power, then what can we learn from our favorite hip-hop artists? For specific protein in HIV, which for me and Nicki Minaj's dad is actually a very intriguing concept for me. And it also helps that I am a full-fledged Barb, which is a Nicki Minaj stan. And by one of my favorite talk show hosts, what's her name? I might have lost you with that one, but that's okay. Don't worry. Let me back up and properly reintroduce myself. I'm Dr. Luke, and I'm your friendly scientist from the internet. Now, if you see some of my posts, you might think that I sound like a SoundCloud rapper, being braggadocious and boastful about science and my love of it. And well, that's not the point. For a long time now, there's been this notion in society that certain jobs and certain careers are for certain people. For instance, why is it that when you think of scientists, this is the image that comes to mind? What is that? What is that notion that makes you think that certain things are for certain people? Not only is it just blatantly false, but it's also detrimental to our society. Science doesn't have a specific race, gender, or even personality type. Anyone can be a scientist. Now, obviously, not everyone wants to be a scientist, and that's okay. That's fine. The message we should be reinforcing to future generations is that you can grow up to be anything you want to be, not what you can be, because obviously you can be anything you want to be. The lack of diverse media representation of scientists is not only a reflection of the lack of diversity in science, but also the skewed and biased perception that society has about what scientists can look like, act like, and what they do. And unfortunately, this perception creates this negative feedback loop that leaves us stuck in this infinite quandrum. Now, let me say this. I am not a role model for what a scientist is, but I happen to be one, and a loud one at that. And I'm not saying that all of us scientists should come out and be loud and visible. No, I was going to do that anyway.
Oh, I'm gonna do that anyway. I'm gonna do that anyway because that's how I am.
That's just how I am. Oh, you never invested in a scientist in your own community because you didn't know one? Well, hello. Call me Dr. Mint. It's nice to meet you. Now, my point isn't to say that there's something inherently special about me or people who identify with me. No, my point is exactly the opposite, which is that there shouldn't be any prerequisites. It shouldn't matter what your background is, what your hobbies are, or your personal interests to be called a scientist. Given access to equal socioeconomic opportunities, kids should feel that a career choice in sports, music, or business is just as valid as one in science. Now, obviously, everyone doesn't have that equal access to opportunities, but that's what makes this even more crucial now, because we need young adults to express their brilliant, youthful minds in all areas, including science, in our communities. Listen, the world is on fire, okay? Particularly in developing countries like my own Zimbabwe. But in the world in general, it's plagued by new and complex problems that never existed before. And our current infrastructure, it's struggling to find new and insightful ideas to address these problems. The status quo isn't working for most of us. And well, that just so happens to be exactly where novel scientific research excels at. Scientists have been rescuing our world for millennia. I mean, since medicine, since agriculture, since the wheel, we have been here. And this time, our time will be no different. But we need all hands on deck. And I know, a lot of us think that STEM subjects are boring. Hell, I do too. But it's not the content that's boring. It's the way we teach it. Slide after slide of mind-numbingly boring information, prerequisite information at that, coming at us like brick wall after brick wall. But what if there was a better way? What if we could make science just as relevant as pop culture? What if we could find out the laws that govern nature and the way we can master them, all the while having fun? Is there any real reason why we can't find out who finally is Becky with the good hair, all the while finding out what are the biological molecules that make up good hair? Huh? Is there any real reason why those two things are incompatible? And well, that's exactly just what I want to find out. See, I've always existed between the intersection between science and pop culture. I cannot tell you the number of times I have used my love for one to fuel the other. the times I've used Nicki Minaj's verses as mnemonic devices to remember complex equations and grasp brand new concepts. And see, I could teach you that. I could teach you how to use your non-academic interests to fuel your learning, to inspire your independent study. I'm still technically on vacation until August, which is my birthday month, you know, where my lion's at, raw. But in the meantime, I want to run this experiment. I've put together this short syllabus I like to call Hip Hop Biochemistry. This is just a few short videos that takes examples from pop culture, popular culture, to teach some of the fundamental and basic principles of my favorite topics in molecular biology. The point of an analogy is to take something known, something relevant to the student, and use that to help the student grasp a new and foreign, difficult concept, right? That's why we use sports metaphors and car metaphors in physics. But what often happens is that students like me, who don't like sports or don't find cars all that fascinating, end up having to go and look up how many innings are in a cricket match just so I can understand the trajectory of a vector and the velocity at which blah, 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 blah. You lost me already. Don't get me wrong. My mission isn't to erase these stereotypically cis, straight, white male references and examples from our textbooks. No, I simply want to add more examples to diversify the catalog from which teachers pull their analogies from and ask, will that cause a ripple effect and excite students who otherwise would have thought themselves too stupid for science, or that science just wasn't cool? It hasn't been an easy road for me to get to where I am today. I mean, I know firsthand of some kids who just don't think they were meant to be scientists. I know whole communities who think of science as an elitist subject that is just simply beyond their reach. And at the same time, I know rich and successful scientists who are desperately looking for more people to give them fresh perspectives, new ideas, and work on those. And unfortunately, they can't seem to find enough people who think what they do is cool. You see, even though I've been a student all my life, I've known that this gap exists, and I've tried in many different ways to help on either side, be it through papers I've published or help get published, along with the voluntary outreach that I have done through my speeches, talks, and posters at colleges, high schools, and throughout my community, or even with the many projects I started myself, some successful and some not. All this has been me trying to help in any minor way as I could whilst on my own journey to become a scientist. Well, I've arrived, and just so happened to be standing in the intersection of where the gap still exists today. And the solution is within reach. See, there's a professor called Ben Wiggins who teaches about active learning and ways of engaging with students effectively. And he describes the way we use abstract examples that aren't relevant to the communities we're teaching as educating a USB generation, but providing the vital information they need on a CD or floppy disk. We need to teach science in a way that's specific to the communities we're reaching out to. And it's been done before. Take, for instance, Dr. David Kimmelman, who published his paper on the cover of the developmental biology journal called Zebrafish. He went to India and constructed and instructed a developmental biology class to help teach Tibetan monks about the ebbs and flows of zebrafish life cycles by relating it to the teachings of Buddhism. I mean, see, there are receipts here. There are receipts. There's receipts, Diane. If he can do that with one culture, then I can do that with mine, right? I mean, and I'm not even the only one. If you search right now, #HipHopAd on Twitter, you will find there's a whole pedagogy conference going on over there. Ways people are using hip hop to teach architecture, to teach teaching, and so much more. And now I'm just using it to teach science. So, welcome again to my social experiment, my class. Welcome to Hip Hop Biochemistry Season 1. Who are my students? You. It doesn't matter whether you are a kid with no scientific background whatsoever, or you're a Nobel Prize winner in chemistry or biochemistry. All of you are in my class, my students here. The scientific method that guides us as scientists requires that our experience have a well defined hypothesis or question that can be tested by known methods and analysis tools. So, ours will be the following. Can hip hop increase the understanding and interest level of everyday scientists, and how? I will hold office hours and give out surveys on Twitter at
Okay, okay. So yeah, that is where this all began. This was the origin story of a simulator, games. And so this video was in 2019. So a lot of these a lot of what's being showed here is actually pretty old now. So in terms of the aliases, Twitter and stuff like that, yeah, it's now all under Steamulater. I'm Steamulator on every platform. But the concepts are still very, very similar and still very relevant. And the concept is still the same. And the thesis is still the same. Can we combine hip hop and biochemistry? And can that incite enthusiasm for the STEM world? And so, here today we are in season 5, kicking it off. Season 1, 2, 3, and 4. We're awesome. Oh, I see a hand raised. Hello, hello, hello. That's another feature in Fanbase. You can raise your hand and talk to folks. And so there will be a Q&A portion towards the end. So I'm going to save it until then, and I'll invite people to come up, say, something that they would like, or, if they have questions about how we're actually doing this. After I explain, then we can get into those questions. Part of the season, this is going to be a very short season. We are starting the first official day. This whole week, we'll be signing up starting today all the way until Friday. And then until May Memorial Weekend will be the last option. And at that point, somebody will be walking away with $1,000 cash prize. Of course, along the way, there'll be prizes, different, and incentives. I like doing that. I like dropping a little incentives. In fact, in 2024, I was giving away concert tickets, which was so fun because I got to meet my in person and enjoy a wonderful experience. Anyway, there's a lot of background and lore associated with Stimulator, but I'm so happy to have been able to contextualize the beginning of it, the very beginnings of it, which you saw a young version of me. I had just graduated. Clip talking about this idea and this theory, and now I feel like the world and the universe has really met where I am. We now have AI tools, advanced AI tools that allow me to do a lot of what we're doing. My platform is also expanded to allow for, of course, I'm Stimulated on all different platforms, but I've had sponsors that have been able to to shine light on what I'm doing. I've also had some high profile figures who have been able to at least, recognize me. I was a scientist in resident for Nick Cannon, which was a mind blowing experience, and that was part of season 2. Some of the students who participated in season 1 actually presented some of the work that we did at an international conference on a poster. I was able to fly them out to Arizona in person and actually present this stuff. And so we've been making incremental progress as we go. And part of what I'm doing this season is documenting this progress a little bit better. And so what we need to do in terms of the very first thing we need to do is everybody who wants to participate needs to be able to sign up and make sure that they're aware that their voice, at the very least, will be used for promotional activities moving forward, because we're definitely capturing all of this, maybe even the spirit of a micro drama, like, fan base is really pushing that moving forward. So shout out to that. But I also just want to document all of this, including some of the stuff from season 1, 2, 3, and 4. So far, we've had, because season 1 was 21, season 2 was 25, but there were some from season 1 who also played in season 2, and season 3 was 30. so we've had over 70 students, participate. And so I think, with season 5, maybe we might hit that 100 mark, which also is a nice round, a number to move the documentary forward, right? And so hopefully we get like maybe 20 signups, and that would be a nice workable group to work with moving forward. Open to more. I'd probably cut it off at 50, but I think 20 will be a nice group to work with moving forward. So yeah, today until midnight Thursday next week will be all signed up, and we're signing up in a very different process. A website for you to be able to enter some of your information, like your fan base account name, so that we know who you are. Also, just enter some age information, because unfortunately, yes, this is 18 and above only. Sorry, the prize money conversations in America is just difficult with kids, and so 18 and above is really the main focus. And also, my platform is geared towards college age students, just because a lot of this information that we're giving, as well as the tools that we're using, are really pretty complicated. And so if I was talking to kids, I would have to really start from a much basis way. And then the very final ending product. Yes, I hope you're here to win $1,000, but you're also learning how to make molecules from scratch. And who knows, if we are able to make something successful that's good, there is grounds for IP ownership. And you need to be an adult to sign a lot of this stuff off. So yeah, 18 and above. That is the first rule. And so that website will be available starting Sunday, this Sunday, midnight. That website will be up for people to sign up today, tomorrow, and Sunday. I'm doing a whole promo run. We just finished on Instagram Live. I was talking to rapper, one of my I promoed with a rapper named Kali M, and it was the kickoff for that. He ended up not, being able to move all the way through, but we were able to at least launch that. And then now we're doing this fan base live. I have X Live planned coming up, and then Saturday all day is promo day. There are AI reels that are coming out, and then hopefully we start the individual signups on Sunday. Moving forward, all throughout the week until Thursday midnight, we'll see what is our cohort, what is our crop. And of course, there'll be more details on the site so that you can read and understand what is expected of you, what how to win, and that kind of stuff. So season 1 was inspired by Survivor. Contestants voted each other off, and so the person who had the $1,000 at the end was basically the person who didn't get voted off, or who was able to get immunity by answering Steam-based questions, get immunity, and then cannot be voted off. Season 2 was inspired by Amazing Race. And so it was a similar idea, vote each other off, but you have to make these different milestones to be able to not get eliminated, right? And these are milestones associated with Steam-based questions. Season 3 was more Squid Games, Squid Games inspired. And this was, again, there was an in-person component, so it was trivia questions, and people would answer and win prizes along the way. And then the final winner was after a marathon day of questions, and they were able to accumulate points and win the final cash prize. Season 4 was more Family Feud with 3 different schools: UCSD, Claflin University, as well as University of Washington, particularly the kickoff. And so, what reality TV show is inspiring season 5? That is the big question that I want to answer today. If you've never watched the show Traders, please do, because we are definitely taking notes from there. You don't need to watch the whole show. You just need to watch a trailer to get the idea of the general rules. But essentially, they will be 3 individuals out of all of the bucket of people who sign up, who will be labeled as traitors, but TR and then AI, artificial intelligence traders. And these 3, everybody else will be trying to find those 3. You're not allowed to say if you're a trader, of course. And if you do say, it's at your own risk, because somebody might leak it. And every episode we will vote people out who people suspect are traders. Okay, but also every day these traders will be DMing me to let me know who they want to murder off the show. And so they will be picking off people every day. And if you're murdered, You cannot win the $1,000, right? And so here's the clincher. If we get down to 5 people and there is still a trader, that trader wins the whole $1,000. Okay. But if we get down to 5 people and there is no more trader, then the game ends and the 5 people basically win the $1,000. Okay, so we're gonna iron out a few things, and throughout the game you can win shields. Shields allow you to not be murdered. And so when you answer Steam-based questions, you will have a shield and you'll not be allowed to be murdered. And there'll be a tally of points as we go throughout. I have a few tools that I'll be introducing as we move through, things that I vibe coded with AI so you can utilize. One example, and that's something that you should take a look at today, is if you go to stimulator.com/play, stimulator.com/play, and that's basically my handle everywhere, Steamulater. You'll see there's no O in Steamulator, so make sure to type that correctly. Steamulator, .com, and then /play, PLAY. You'll see the first tool that we're using there is a coloring tool, and so that is the very first thing that I am putting out there. That tool, play around. You'll see it's information on there, and you'll see there's a streak that's keeping track of folks who are able to win that game in record time. Make sure to take a screenshot, upload it on Fanbase, tag me if you want. But we're already noticing that, and so you'll be accumulating points throughout this week, and that's how people essentially are signing up. The people in the top percentile of those points are the people who are winning. We want really serious people for the season. I want people who will be able to answer these challenges and be able to actually, because there's a making of a molecule component in this competition. At the end, somebody's molecules that they've made on these social media, I'm going to pay for those to be made in real life on a robot. And we will actually have those molecules in lab, figure out, are they viable to move forward, and if something is viable, that's IP right there. And so we want really serious people. And so to kind of prune that out, this whole week you will be having challenges so that people have a point system, essentially, so that people with the most number of points are the people who are actually competing for the $1,000 for the rest of the season. So I'm very excited. I'm excited to be doing this on Fanbase. I'm excited to be wiser now. Steamulator is on every platform, so my reach is a bit wide. We are documenting this as we go along, not only visually on every single platform through our streams as we do these episodes, but we are also documenting it through write-ups and writing this journey along, because this is an experiment that we are actually doing. And so we're definitely documenting how this experiment moves forward, particularly even the actual molecules that we make at the very end. That data is going to be very interesting to take a look at and see how that ties in. Did we make something useful and everything? And so all of this, we've been able to present at a conference in the past, but I have not been able to publish. So I'm hoping to finally publish this all together, which will be very exciting. And of course, people who are playing, competitors as well as co-hosts of the season, will all be co-authors, and will definitely earn something as we move forward. So all right, so I think I've been talking for quite a bit, and I don't want to I don't want to round it up for too long. Also, that's another thing, is all the lives that I'll be doing will be about an hour long, and I'll be trying to be really strict about an hour cutoff, because that's something that in the past we were not very strict on. It was ended up being like 90 minutes, 2 hours. We can't do that, y'all. We gotta get in and get out 1 hour and be over. So I'm gonna open the floor quickly. If there are any people who want to come up, say something. I see Ali is new in the comments. Raise your hand, or I can send the invite. Come up, let me know your thoughts so far. If you have any questions, let me know. You might even shine up things that I haven't thought of, but let me know. But if you are tuned in to find out how it goes, now you've heard the full plan of how everything is going to be moving forward. Please do stay tuned. Steamulator on every single platform. Follow me, of course, but also follow my co-host, Joyce, aka Memoirs, on Fanbase. Definitely follow us as we, give updates as we go along. I'll also be introducing an AI, social media AI, that you'll be able to talk to as we move along. There's one already right now on Instagram in my profile. If you click it, you can chat with Coach Kule. There will be one that will be specific to the season, so that if there are any needs that come up, if there are any issues, if there are any questions, I'll basically be available 24/7 through this AI that we will be interacting with. And so that will be released starting around Wednesday. So yeah, there's a whole lineup of things that we'll be doing. We're just kicking this off right now, generating that interest, making people sure people are aware, answering any questions, and of course, this is the part that takes the longest time. I've noticed with all 5 seasons, really getting those signups takes time. It just does, because yeah, there is a commitment to this, to what we're doing, and it's become serious work, which is hilarious, because we're ultimately just having fun as we move along. So that is hilarious. But all right, I'll give the floor a little bit to Joyce, and then if you want to come up, feel free to raise a hand, and come up and let me know.
You so much. Wow. So much information. I'm excited. This sounds like a lot of fun. I don't know if we've ever had anything similar to this since I've been on fan base this 4 years. So this is definitely a game changer to me. So I'm looking forward to the interactions and what we're gonna find. I do have a question, but I didn't see any hands raised. I can't let anyone up. We're going through that hiccup again to where I mentioned earlier that we can't tap on profiles. So hopefully, Steamulater, you have an iPhone because it looks like the iPhones are winning right now. That don't mean they winning, but they winning right now. They kind of are because if you have access to an iPhone right now, you will be able to tap on the profiles and bring people up. But I do have a question about the entry as far as I'm on your site now, so I'm just kind of doing my homework myself. Steamulator.com/play, I think is where you enter the lab and that's where the game starts. Is that what I'm understanding?
Exactly. You are right on the right page. And so you enter the lab, it pretty walks you through, and you're allowed to, you basically have a minute time to fill out that. And so that's, again, points that will contribute towards you signing up for the game. And so, yeah, play that. That's at stimulator.com/play. That's the first basic app that we vibe coded, and it also gives you some basic information that summarizes season 1, 2, and 3, where it's like, oh, what are these proteins that we're making? What are they? What are some famous ones that we know of? There's a list of those. What are they made up of? They're made of these building blocks called amino acids. Each of those amino acids has a different color, and so you kind of get to learn a little bit about the background information that we will need moving forward. It's also a good reference to always come to, and it's a fun little game to play with. So please do screenshot when you play that, tag me, everything. Every tag and every every basic submission, because the submission, right, when you take a screenshot after playing that game, especially when you win, and tag me, that's a submission, and those are points that are going towards your sign up. And again, the people with the most number of points at the end of this week will be the ones we move forward with as contestants and competitors for season 5. Alrighty, so we have about, yeah, 10 minutes left. I'm going to, oops, I'm going to go ahead and see if, yeah, I invited Ali. I don't know if she has anything to say. She had a hand raised earlier. I don't know if she still wants to come up and say something. Let me know.
I think she, I think I saw you guys collaborating on Fanbase a while back. She may have come up based off of your recent collaboration, like I did before when I saw you. I was like, oh, a familiar face.
Exactly.
So that could be it too. We kind of flock in the same spaces where we're familiar. So that makes sense.
Exactly. Exactly.
So I am on season 5 now, the stimulator.com/season 5, and that's a great like synopsis and overview of the season 5 and what that looks like. Is that what I'm understanding? Season 5, if we want to get like a breakdown just of the the about section about the games? Is that kind of what we would start?
No. So you start at
No.
steamulater.com/play.
Oh, you do go
That's
every,
where
okay.
we start off.
Gotcha.
Eventually, the competitors will be listed on the season 5 page. That's where the point system will be racked up, and there'll be a tally as we go throughout the week. You know, the number of points that you have based on submissions will increase on that page on season 5, and so you can actually see who's in the lead. You can see, you know, who's racking up the points that we need. And again, the points will start, or that page will be live starting Sunday. Right now, I think it's just the flyer for our conversation this morning, and then eventually on Sunday it will convert to that tally system to make sure that we get these signups of people who are super serious for this. Okay. All right, well, I'm happy y'all were able to listen and hear. Those who are listening live, I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Thank you so much. If you're listening this on the replay, shout out to you as well. Drop me a comment, a like. Let me know if you have any questions, things that I could clarify. You know, part of what has been an enjoyable process of Steamulater is, yes, it's a solo, it's a solo founder or solo propriety company, a platform that it's just me out here just doing things, but but you know, I also enjoy the fact that my audience gets to have input in some of the things that we do. And so yeah, if you have any suggestions and comments, I'm definitely open ears to listen to what y'all are saying. All right, I will sign off very quickly, very soon, if there aren't any more questions. All righty. Thank you so much. And shout out again, thank you to Joyce for co hosting. I appreciate you. I'm sure you'll hear more from her in the future, probably towards the end of the season, as well as some of. Oh, Ali, what'd you say? Oh, you're raising a hand. Okay. Let's see. Ali is raising a hand. Invite to stage. There we go. Hey, Ali.
Hello, hello. No, I wasn't. I was listen. I'm still trying to figure out how to work fan base, but no, I'm just excited. It sounds so great. Everything sounds fantastic. So I hope the season goes well. I know it will. It's going to be fun for everybody who's listening. It's going to be so much fun because I've been able to witness, a couple of these seasons, and it's just really incredible. So yes, thank you, Joyce, for being on. You're great too. And yeah, Dr. Mook, I'm just excited. I'm excited.
I,
So let's get
I,
ready to rumble.
Yes, I'm excited. Thank you, Ellie.
I appreciate you,
Woo.
Ali. Thank you so much. And Ali actually was able to join us in Arizona for the conference with the two students, Kamara Ice and Ama Nicole. So she actually saw us present the research
Yeah.
at an international conference for ABRCAMP, stands for Annual Biomedical Research Conference for minoritized students, and so it was like 5,000 students from HBCUs and different walks of life. So it was a pretty amazing experience. So shout out to Ali, has been on the journey for a while now. Shout out to you. Oh, hello, Mona. I see you are up. Hello. Let me give you. I just learned if you give the crown, then you're visualized. Hello, hello.
Hi, how's everybody? I think this is a really good thing. So I shared with my kids who all are trying to pursue careers in STEM.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Yeah, one thing that was so funny is in season 1, we give audience prizes throughout. So once we have ironed out the competitors, we have the competitor list. But then, obviously it's a reality TV show, right? Well, reality show, not really TV, but reality show, competition show, and so we have an audience, people just listening in the I don't know what people call it, in the bottom room or whatever. People are listening to the show, and people also watching on social media, just on clips and reels and stuff, and so they're audience members who are not participants, but who are enjoying the process as they go, and they get to be involved as we go along. There's some voting elements. Obviously, I'm keeping things a bit secretive as we go along, just to not give so much a heads up, because of the nature of the show being on the internet, it means you have access to ChatGPT, Google, and that's not cheating using those to answer the STEM questions. But because that's not cheating and you're encouraged to use them, actually, that means things have to be a little bit more difficult or a little bit more, they have to be rolled out a little bit more slowly, because if I tell you now the challenge that will be on like Friday, you can look it up, ChatGPT can do all of it, and then who really wins, right? And so, yeah, so obviously there are some secretive things, but we had some audience members, we had some competitors who had audience members who were kind of like helping them win some questions, and their kids, they started, and so there's a clip actually on YouTube, you can hear they had their kids call in and to help them win out, which is really fun, really funny and interesting. Because again, the kids were in the audience, but they were also, like listening in and chiming in and being like, "Oh, I'm rooting for my mom. I'm rooting for my dad or something," which was really fun. And then one of the molecules that were made and we presented at Abracams was actually a dad made a molecule with his son and dedicated the molecule to his son, and the son actually learned about some of these amino acids and how to use them, and incorporated his name in the final molecule. That was actually one of the winners for our past seasons. Shout out to Raj the Great, which hopefully you'll hear from very soon in one of our podcasts coming up. So, okay, all right. So, Mona, shout out to you for coming up. I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're not gonna link it?
Sorry, to link what?
You're not gonna link it at the top? That's an option. I wasn't sure if you.
Oh,
You
to
could
link like the Steamulater.com/play. I
Yeah.
can do that. I thought it was just a video.
Mhm.
even though
Oh,
it's
I
almost,
can. I can pin a link. Oh wow,
yeah.
that's so cool.
I was going to tell you the chat was closed. A lot of times people put it in the chat, but since it's closed, the pin link is good too. Some people say it takes them out of the room when they do the pin link, but definitely a good thing. We can just start that off every time with a pin link, and that way they'll know. But you can't have both. You can't have the watch party and the pin link. So I know you were playing the watch party earlier.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, this is really cool. Okay. All right. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, link was pinned to the page. There we go. So that's stimulator.com/play. So that's our initial thing right there. I wonder if it's also showing on the play-by-play. No, I don't think it does. Okay, but if you've heard it, I think I can actually do it in the banner so that people have the link as well on the. Oh, here we go. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. So if you click that link, which you can see on Fanbase. You can also see it on the screen right now, wherever you're streaming. And if you go to that website, is the first challenge. Okay, so make sure to play. Once you win, take a screenshot, tag me on your favorite platform, whatever it is. I'm everywhere at Steamulator. Tag me, and that's your submission. You get a certain number of points, and of course, if you do multiple proteins, you get more points. If you win multiple proteins, you win more points. And so the more points you have, the more entries you have, chances to be the final winner. All right, so I'm going to round this off. We have 2 minutes left, so I'm going to round this off. Thank you so much for those who joined in live. I'll see y'all. Well, for those who are on the replay, shout out to y'all. If you're watching wherever you are, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, X, as well as Kick, thank you for tuning in. And our next show, I'll be doing basic reels on Instagram all day tomorrow, as well as on all platforms. You'll see me. I'll be promoting this throughout. But my next live will be on Sunday on X on Twitter to promote this again. So tune in there. I have a special guest, a very special guest I'm very excited about. So definitely tune in on Sunday. I think it's at 1 o'clock. And so there'll be a flyer that goes out today or tomorrow to announce this. So definitely tune into that. We'll talk more about the rules as well, and also do like a roundup of the game as well. Steamulator.com/play. All right. Thank you all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to Joyce, Ali, and Mona. Thank y'all for coming out and for the input. Thank you. Take care. And as always, I won't see you later. I will steam you
See you
later.
later.